Well, I lost the over-under, and when I was going to break down hours ago. Thank you. What an honor, incredible moment this is. This day is very special for many reasons, and frankly, it's overwhelming. Words will mostly fail this evening to capture the moment, but I'm going to do my best. As I've stated and shared my entire career, people don't join companies or associations. They join people and causes. The people and the cause makes all the difference. And the people here tonight, all I can say is I simply cannot imagine my life without you. One of those very special people in my life has been our very own Bonnie Godsman. Bonnie's our sister, as we've known each other for a quarter century. We've literally traveled the road of life and around the world together. Thank you, Bonnie, for all that you have done for me and for every Finseca and Gamma Global member. Let's give Bonnie a round of applause. I also want to thank my dear friend, Chris Noonan. We met through the study groups formed under Phil Richards' presidency of Gamma International almost a quarter century ago. We became fast friends and also have traveled the road of life and around the world together. And tonight, being inducted in this Hall of Fame, simultaneous with you, takes us over the top. I love you, brother. 3, 4, 5. Chris. Now, a really special group here tonight are those from my most intimate families, my Cetera, North Star, and my Deutschlander family. This night is as much as yours as it is mine, because it would never happen without you, and it would be empty and meaningless without you. So thank you all for being here. From Cetera, Tony Martins and Tim Stinson. So my Cetera managing partners here tonight, John Langdon, Sean McCluskey, thank you. My beloved North Star family have Dave Vassos, Diane Yan, Gary Schwartz, Sean McDuffie, Marshall Gifford, David Bell, Chase Brackey, Jeff Jarnes, Anthony Shaw, Bob Wald, McKenna Stevens, and Tony Hill, who, by the way, was the first person I recruited in this business 32 years ago. Thank you for being here and spending tonight with us. And now the Deutschlander family. My wife of 35 years, Tony. Our daughters, Ashley and Hannah. Our sons, Will and Jake. Our son-in-law, Lance. Our grandson, Banks. Banks, yes. I'm a grandfather, my gosh. My mother-in-law, Carol Kiefer. I hope you all realize and know that you are my why. Thank you for spending this special day, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of your lives. But perhaps what makes this most special of all is yesterday, right here in Nashville, I spent the day with my parents, Ed and Georgia Deutschlander, celebrating my father's 94th birthday. Hey, Dad, how's this for a birthday party? I'm more proud of you. You wait till 95. You wait the party we're going to throw. Quick story about my dad, who still drives. He still drives. He was pulled over about a year ago. Cop pulls him over because he was speeding. The cop asks him, "Why are you speeding?" He said, "When you're as old as me, you better speed because you don't know if you're going to live long enough to get where you're going." Let's just say he got out of that ticket. And talking about tickets, I had the winning lottery ticket being the oldest child of Ed and Georgia Deutschlander. A book could and should be written about my parents. And I want to take a moment this evening to share with you the wisdom and a few key lessons that they and some other special people, and people might not be the right term, perhaps angels would be more important, that have been in my life and the lessons they provided me. Ed and Georgia, they're modern day Stoics. Raising a family of 8 in a financially challenged household, they taught the great lesson of work ethic and frugality. And that if you had enough, and I mean just enough, you are rich. And we had just enough. Garage sales, $1 a pound meat specials, and if it's free, it's for me, was the mantra that we sang. The stuff we had wasn't new, it wasn't shiny. It was used and handed down, but we had just enough. We were never without. We were indeed rich. My parents were not college grads. For that matter, my grandfather, the original Edward Deutschlander, only was educated to the 4th grade. But my parents insisted us 6 children pursue college as that was a path to a brighter future. Although they could not contribute a dime to the cause, they were our best advocates in finding scholarships and grants to apply for. All 6 of us graduated from college. 3 went on to get master's degrees and even a PhD. All of us were first-gen college grads, and I, being the oldest, had the privilege and the distinction of being the first college grad in our family's history. The lesson of grit, work ethic, resourcefulness, and faith was as common as breathing in our household. If you have enough, you are indeed rich. My parents could be the wealthiest people I know, as they truly know what real wealth is. Yeah. See, an inheritance is what you give others. Legacy is what you leave in others. You are leaving the greatest inheritance one can ask for, a legacy. You're the real Hall of Famers. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Thank you. My sister Renee, only 14 months younger than me, went on to become Dr. Renee Rosen, a highly respected faculty member at the University of Minnesota. She's with us tonight in spirit, losing her battle of cancer back in 2018. Her spirit and memory shines bright. And also here tonight are a few others in spirit that made such an impact in my life that words and time this evening are not enough. And those are the 2 Scotts, Scott Richards and Scott Kiefer. Scott Richards was the big brother I never had. Scott taught us all that's not the length of your life, but the depth of your life with the time that you have. His 45 years of life and 15 years of time I had with him were life-changing, which is the very purpose of our firm, North Star, changing lives forever. Scott epitomized what North Star stands for. The other Scott was my father-in-law, Scott Kiefer, who became my second earthly father. We lost Scott to cancer several years ago, and the lessons he taught were of patience, selflessness, and understanding. And Scott was very, very understanding, as Scott welcomed me to be part of his special family with the surprise pregnancy of his daughter, Tony, who was my girlfriend at the time, and miraculously still my girlfriend 35 years later. Tony and I stared into the headlights of life, about to be 20-year-old parents. And those headlights of adversity stared right back at us. 2 kids, brother out of high school, no college degrees yet, having to make life-changing decisions. And as I've learned later from my mentor and my third earthly father, Phil Richards, who said, you have about 20 to 25 decisions you have to get right in your lifetime. This was indeed one of those moments. 2 big life decisions cast upon a couple kids. Will we get married and will we have children? I can honestly say it takes Tony and I longer to pick out what we're having for dinner on date night than it did for us to come to the conclusion that we were going to begin our life's journey together. You see, when one's values are clear, decisions are easy. The decision becomes clear, what to do, what the right thing to do is. But what I've learned in life is that the right decisions often come with the hardest paths. Yet the paths that are carved and blazed from decisions based on values end up being the most beautiful, the most joyful and fulfilling, but never the easiest. My parents instilled a faith and belief in God in me. As I've grown, I've taken ownership of that faith journey, and nowhere has my faith been more renewed or reinforced by the people, the angels God has placed in my life. You see, we're all born with angels' wings. The big question is, are we going to keep them or are we going to clip them? And here this evening, all of you have chosen to keep those wings by the people we're surrounded by and the calling we have chosen and have received. The world will try very hard at times to clip your wings, especially as a leader, as leadership is very lonely at times, but purpose, faith, values continue to grow our wings as we build careers around building hopes and dreams. Yes, I've been blessed to be surrounded by people that chose to keep and grow their wings. And the angel with the biggest set of wings of all is Tony. There is a God, and he's so good. He loaned you and our wonderful family to me. And I know that you and the kids one day must be returned to him. And knowing that, I often think of what St. Augustine shared. Let's do all the good we can with the time we have. Let's do all the good we can with the time we have. That beautiful message of stewardship applies to all of us. We have so much good in our lives to be grateful for. But how do you demonstrate gratitude? By being responsible for what it is you're grateful for. If you're grateful for your family, you're responsible with your family. If you're grateful for your career, you're responsible with your career. And I am unaware of a group of people, this very association, all of you, that is more grateful for their careers as so demonstrated by how responsible you are with it. Every day you perpetuate our profession with each additional person you recruit to serve others. I don't think there can be a higher level of responsibility than perpetuating a great cause. The special people in my life have taught me that we need to be kind and generous to each other. For life's messy, it's complicated, and it's difficult. We live in a world of constant social media messaging that life should be easy, carefree, simple, perfect, if you will. When one accepts that real life is indeed hard, and you build the attributes of determination, faith, gratitude, and humility, and with these attributes, life becomes a little bit easier to navigate. Not because life is any easier. Actually, it gets harder, a lot harder. But with these attributes, you just learn how to handle hard better. Difficulty is inevitable. Use it. Use it. This is where one begins to create a victory mindset instead of a victim mindset. We begin to realize the difficulties in life are not so much happening to me, but they're happening for me. And you begin to see the world through the eyes of you get to do versus you have to. Getting to do something is a privilege. Having to do something is a chore. As Tozer stated, God cannot use you greatly until you've been hurt deeply. I don't think anyone gets to their top until they've scratched the bottom. We've all experienced the losses, the setbacks, the rejection, the heartbreaks. They either make us bitter, but for those of us in this room, they made us and make us better. And why do I share this? Because that is what I think a Hall of Fame honors. One doesn't necessarily rise to the ranks of a Hall of Fame. More so, they learn to get back up when they fall, and they learn to climb out of the holes they fall into. Hall of Fames are really halls of climber, halls of people who never give up, halls of getting back up after being knocked down. We are able to get back up because of what we have in our corner is purpose, belief, love, and most of all, I know what we have. We have each other. We need to be the first believer in ourselves and the first believer in others. None of us are immune to the uncertainties of life. And in these moments, it isn't so much about adversity, building our character, as it is, but rather revealing our character. I fully believe, and we have these moments when we feel sometimes as if life is falling apart. Perhaps maybe life's falling into place. And that may be the greatest lesson of all. When I was at the incredibly wise age of 16, I was brilliant. Our family moved from Chicago to Minnesota. I felt like my life was indeed falling apart. See, I was king of the hill in my Chicago neighborhood. I was the boss of bosses, and I had to restart my life halfway through high school. Gosh, I resisted that move. But that move introduced me to my wife, my college, my career. Maybe life was falling into place. A few years later, I did not get into the United States Coast Guard Academy. That was my number one choice. I had to settle for my second choice, McAllister College. Once again, life was falling apart. Now I have the honor of serving as the incoming chair of the Board of Trustees of McAllister College, a school that in essence educated me for free. And it was through McAllister that I found North Star. And it was also the landing spot for one of our very own children, Hannah. Maybe life was just having to fall into place. And at the age of 20, when life's pitcher threw a curveball with this surprise pregnancy, life was falling apart, right? Look at that family. Look at that family. Do you think anything fell apart? My God, life was falling into place. Sometimes reality is better than your dreams. Think about that. Sometimes your reality is better than your dreams. I hope all of you understand that. Living a dream, no. Reality's better than your dreams. You're all here. And when I resigned after my first year at North Star, heart broke that perhaps my dream of being in this profession was pretty much over. Once again, life was falling apart. Not at all. Only to be recruited by Phil Richards a second time to pursue a path I was far more suited for. A path of leadership, a path of building people, a path of building a company, and of building an industry. Perhaps life was falling into place. And lastly, when our very own Gamma International was dissolved to become part of this crazy idea of unifying our profession, our beloved Gamma was falling apart? No, not at all. Now look at having over 13,000 Finseca members and truly making a mark on unifying our profession. We can proudly state that it was probably falling into place. You see, what I've learned is that praying is something that we do in our time. But answering, that's something God does on his time. Ultimately, the life we live are the lessons that we teach. And one of the greatest lessons I have learned is that if you want to leave your footprint in the sands of time, just wear work boots. Just wear work boots, baby. That's all you got to do. So in closing, I wish you all that you have eyes, that you see the good and beauty in all, a mind that believes in yourself and others, and with a forgiving and grateful and loving heart, that you will see with unwavering determination and faith, life does fall exactly into place. And you, all of you, are exactly in the right place. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you all.